Separate us. Morning, everybody. Who we are. We are. Guys, I want to talk to you today about freedom, about the 4th of July. I want to talk to you about a day that I don't want any one of you to ever go through. That's the reason I'm making this video right now. Interestingly, guys, I keep saying it, but I was sitting out here this morning and did everything but get into the Word and felt no inspiration for recording a video, and then I decided to get into the Word, and guess what happened? I want to talk to you about July 4th of 2014. I got fired from my job of 25 years in September 2013. I went to rehab in January of 2014. Everybody had great hopes, came out in March, and went right back to where I was. And it got to a point where I was had to leave my home, and I was sleeping in my van, and was sleeping in my van on my driveway. Check this out. Right where my son's car is parked, right there, is exactly where I would back my van up. I had an extension cord that I would plug into the ceiling, and that's where I would get my power from, and I would have a fan. This is in July, in the summer. So inside the back room of the studio. But anyway, guys, 4th of July that year, I was parking in my driveway, and basically when it got too hot to be in the vehicle, I would have to leave and then go figure out what to do for that day. Well, I had just started working at day labor. At that point, for about 3 months, I worked day labor, and my first day was July 3rd. Well, July 4th, I basically, there was a pawn shop that was open. And that day, I took everything I had that was even minimal in value, a Bluetooth headpiece and $20, and bought the last bit of crack that I could, the last bit of gas in my car. I mean, I was flat broke. And I went to go back to my house, and I was sweating, just pouring in sweat, barely, didn't even know if I'd probably run out of gas going to the house. And get to the house, and as I pull up to the house, it's probably, 9 o'clock at night or 10 at night. There's people all out in front of the house. Usually I waited till that time of night to go there because nobody would be there. Well, it was the first 4th of July that I was not part of the family anymore. And some people had come over to the house to support, my wife. That was a time we would do fireworks, and so I think my sister was over there and some friends, and they were all doing fireworks out front when I came by. And I drove by, and man, the pain that I felt when I drove by. And I had to drive up to the Walgreens in front of my neighborhood and sit in the parking lot and sweat because I couldn't run my air. I had no gas left, and listen to the fireworks going off that I used to do with my own kids in that very same spot. And I had to wait in there and sweating and until they went home and inside, and I came back and plugged in my fan and got in the back of the van. Guys, no matter what you are going through, I don't know what more to tell you, it got worse from there. That's before dawn. Oh, gosh, it hurts me to say that. Guys, I want to talk to you about other things, though. Some things that are pressing on my heart. And that is this, do not make this mistake that I kept making in my Christian life. God keeps putting things in my head that he wants me to relay to you. And this is one, is that you let God take the wheel and you let him get you out of the jam, the problem. And then, you say, Jesus, take the wheel, and you let him take it over. But at some point, and everybody watching this will be able to identify this, at some point we look at God and say, you know what? Thanks for what you've done, But I'm going to take it from here. Now that you've got me on the open road, we let God do the hard work, and then we take over and think that, hey, I can run the auto, I can run the cruise control if that's all it is. And then we end up taking over, guys. But what I'm telling you is what changed for me, when everything changed, is I got out of the driver's seat and got out of the passenger seat and got in the back seat and kept my hands off the wheel. Keeping your hands on the wheel would be going back and doing any other thing outside of your great big struggle. If you're struggling with drugs, but yet you want to go out and drink or to watch porn or, or just live the same way, you have to change who you are here. This is what it's all about. But I want to tell you something. Somebody was talking earlier, yesterday, about how when they were young, they thought Christianity was bondage and rules. And man, who would want to be part of that? And you know what? I was an atheist, man, and I thought the same thing. And I want to tell you what, is you have a choice. You have a choice between trusting God at His Word or going through what I went through. Which is to find out what the real bondage is. And it is not God. It is Satan. This is the greatest trick I think he has, is he wants to lead you to believe that God's way of life is tough in bondage. Guys, I come from Satan's house. My God. If you want to know what bondage is, if you want to know what rules are, you are at the mercy of these drugs. They rule you. And there are rules for sure when you play with Satan. He owns you. That's rule number one. I want to talk about Proverbs again. When you walk, you won't be held back. When you run, you won't stumble. Take hold of my instructions. Don't let them go. Guard them. They are the key of life. I'll tell you, these words, guys, in Proverbs are amazing. You follow this down. Take hold of my instruction. Don't let go. Guard them, for they're the key of life. But don't do as the wicked do, and don't follow the path of evildoers. Don't even think about it. Don't go that way. Now, I want to say something real quick. What have I been talking about with 2 Corinthians 10:5? Taking every thought captive for the obedience of Christ. He is telling you right there, don't even think about the path. So the key is not, are you falling into whatever sin you're struggling with? It's, are you spending time thinking about it? That's what he is concerned with. How much time you are focused on that in your mind, replaying scenes or getting high or replaying how good the sex was when you were on the drug or how good this or that felt. That's all your choice, guys. And so when he says, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. That's God talking to you. Don't even think about it. And so the only way to not think about it is to take those thoughts. If they're running around you, somebody has to go in there and take them captive and stop them. And that is up to us, guys. I just want to say a couple last things. There's a verse in the Bible from my wife. I want to say this first. I actually found more. I'll tell you, I can't even finish this chapter. I'm going to be honest with you. Chapter 4 of Proverbs. My child, pay attention to what I say. Listen carefully to my words. Don't lose sight of them. Let them penetrate deep into your heart, for they bring life to those who find them and healing to their whole body. What are you trying to do to heal your body? Are you going to the health store? Are you going to a doctor? Or are you going to if you believe God is who he is, he's telling you right there. He's the one that heals you, that gives me a longer life, despite what I've done to my body. And I just want to say one other thing. Lastly, verse 23, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. If you, I read that this morning and I thought, man, I need to pay way more attention to this verse. Guard your heart above all else. He's telling you above everything, for it determines the course of your entire life. I think we need to pay attention to that. And the way you guard your heart is by not even thinking about these things that are trying to get into your head, and by taking those thoughts captive, and by submitting your whole heart to God, guys. That's what this is all about, man. But guys, come to me, all you who are burdened and heavy laden, and take my yoke is easy and my burden is light, guys. That's God talking to you. Is the rules and things he wants you to do is what I'm telling you now. It's coming from the atheist, coming from the guy who is on drugs, and I dove into Satan's deep end. And I'm telling you, I don't know how I made it out, guys, but I'm here to tell you how he got me out, what he showed me. And, doctors, you can listen to counselors, whoever you want, or you can listen to the guy who came from hell, straight from hell. Guys, I love you. Oh, and lastly, let's talk Dawn here. I'm so glad I remembered this. I found this. Check this out. The way of the righteous is like the first gleam of dawn, which shines ever brighter until the full day of light. I ain't saying nothing more.